先に言っとくが、俺はパーフェクト。Heaven or hell, do or let's
Just listen what's called the years, the word of the guy who was hated by the god of failure. Just lean. It's a mess, but nobody think it's a joke. Whether it be a mother, sister, or daughter, whatever, he doesn't talk about fake love. The outlaw, no age can judge him. Truth is always born in the mind. If the big moon had a show in the right. Hated by the god of failure. Just listen what's colder is the word of the guy who followed the heart without a
Hey man, I know you're sad about us toning you down from your ex or predecessor, but do you think you can handle more changes? We just thought that Miss Miner might be too complex for Strive. Hell no, double it down and give it to the next person. And they bombarded Alpha Valentine to the fucking ground.
Alpha Valentine is what Artsy created to teach you
they shall always appreciate what you have. Because at least your character didn't end up like Elfeld. But despite that, I still do think that Johnny is one of the worst characters that got translated into Strive. And so that's why I created this ACPR overhaul mod to make him whole again. In this chapter of the video, I'll be showcasing all of the new movesets and changes that this mod has to offer, and I'll also be showing some in-depth details on how it all works and some behind the scenes along the way too. Alright, the first thing I want to show are some of the passive changes that I did, but I won't show all of the changes unless it's really necessary. The first passive change is that Johnny can now infinitely misstep. You can still cancel the stance during the dash or cancel into the misfire attack like you normally do. Next up, Johnny can now do a combo after throw. Okay, if I had to be honest with you, I actually forgot about the combo grab and hadn't retouched it again ever since I first started doing this project months ago. And I wasn't bothered much to touch it again, even till now, so it'll probably look the same as before. Also yes, that's his JH. I just reanimated it again to make it more similar to his old JH. There's also other animation changes like how he's not showing his stupid tooth during the idle stance. I'll explain all of this other mods again later at the end of the video. Next up, card changes. Okay, let's be honest here. Nobody likes Guard Cross. You don't like Guard Cross, I don't like Guard Cross, Leo players don't like Guard Cross, heck, even Johnny players don't like Guard Cross. So I got rid of it. There's still one more problem with the cards though, and it's the fact that the card pop will launch the enemy high as fuck. In fact, it'll launch the enemy so high that you can still do weird ass conversion when you're hitting the opponent with the card pop from far away. So I nerfed that too. Okay, I understand why RC make the card so OP. It's probably because Johnny and Strive only had like 2 or 3 special moves like Misfire, the cards, Y-hander, which is only good because of how broken the card is, and the Senga, which is just a filler move. So they just decided to make Deal one of the most overpowered moves in the fucking game. But we won't be having that here. The only purpose the cards serve in this mod is to be used as screen control, and that's it. And that's all of the passive changes that I could show. There's a lot of other passive changes that I did, like giving his JD a wall bounce property, but it's not necessary to show it, so now we can finally move on to the new stuff. Next up, Glitter is Gold. Johnny coins are back, and I try my best to make their visuals to fit more to Strive aspects. That also includes to a lot of other new moves that I added to the mod so that they don't feel out of place. Glitter is Gold input is 236H. While that input is originally for Y-hander, so Y input is changed to double 236H. Glitter is Gold can be whiff cancel into most normals like 5P, 5K, 5S, 5H, and 6H. We used to be able to do 6K to whiff cancel, but then I realized how broken it was and got rid of it. In round start, you are given 7 coins and you can only have 7 coin max. There are only one way you can get coins back after spending them, and I will talk about that again later. Now this is a very important part about the coin HUD. I will admit that the coin HUD can still have flaws, so that's why I made it so that you can input 214-236H to turn off the coin HUD if you don't like it. And then you can input 236-214H to turn it back on again. If you are wondering about the flaws that I mentioned, there is only 3 flaws that I know of. The first one, in most cutscenes that uses a lot of camera movement, the coin HUD will go around everywhere and will get back to normal once the cutscene is done. The second one, which is the most straightforward one, some particles may get in front of the coin HUD like the example shown. The third one, which is the most confusing one, if you play in a stage that only has 3 parts and you do a wall break, the coin HUD will rotate each time you wall break, but it works fine if you play in a map that has 6 parts. But do you wanna know the craziest part? If you do homing dust in a 3-part stage, then the coin HUD doesn't rotate. Yeah, it's pretty weird. So if you're planning to play with the coin HUD, make sure to play in a map that has 6 parts. Like for example the moveset, the White House, or the castle. And that's all the 3 bugs that I know of. I really tried my best to figure out the solution to these bugs, but I couldn't find any in the end. But just like I said before, if you really don't like the coin HUD due to these 3 bugs, then you can just turn off the coin HUD if you want to. Also, a little fun fact about the coin HUD, I used to have 2 other coin HUD designs and asked in a certain Discord server to let people choose out of all 3 coin HUD and which one they liked better, and the third one got chosen the most, which is a combination of ACPR coin HUD and Exert coin HUD. Alright, that's the last time I'm saying coin HUD, I swear. Next up, Mistfinder levels. Johnny has now the ability to level up his Mistfinder after hitting the opponent with coins. You can level up your Mistfinder up until level 3, and each level will change Johnny Mistfinder properties and make mist cancelling more faster. And once you use Mistfinder, your level will reset back to level 1. And here are the example of the mist cancelling speed for each level. I will talk and show a bit more of the levels in just a bit. Also, my fingers fucking broke just by doing this. First up, we got level 1 Mistfinder. That's not much difference from the vanilla version of Strive Johnny. It's almost identical to the original, just some changes here and there and like lowering the damages and making it more minus on block, but that's kinda it. Also forgot to include the mist cancelling speed for the air version of Mistance, so I'll be showing it in this section too. By the way, there might be still more changes by the time I recorded this video, but it wouldn't be that much different. Next, we got Mistfinder level 2. This is when things get really fun. In level 2, your mist cancelling speed is more faster, thus having more combo potential. The attack itself has higher damage, has less recovery, more velocity on hit, and is more plus on block. But the game changer here are all of the new properties that each version of the Mistfinder gets. Like for example, how low Mistfinder will launch the enemy towards you, while the air version of the low Mistfinder basically ground bounce. And both the air and ground version of the high Mistfinder now has wall bounce properties. And the middle version just basically increased the roll durations. With these new properties, you'll get much more better conversions. That is if you have level 2 of course. And here's an example of a combo if you get to hit the opponent with coins at the round start. You'll build just enough tensometer to do a super at the end of the combo. Next up, we got Mistfinder level 3. Not the boring one, but the cooler one. In level 3, your mist cancelling speed is even more faster, effectively making Johnny always plus on block during his strings. When you do the move itself, Johnny will release a barrage of Mistfinder that spreads in an area similar to a shotgun. But be careful when you do release it though, because you are leaving yourself open to get attacked until the animation is done. The angle of the spread will differ depending on which Mistfinder you use. Like for example the high Mistfinder, it's perfect to cover up high to straight area, but you might be fucked if the opponent has a low profile move similar to Vortex. When you do hit the opponent though, they'll get vacuum, and when the last Mistfinder releases, they'll get sent into orbit. I was just joking, but the velocity is more higher than level 2 and so is their wall bounce velocity. The air version isn't so different, it's basically the same thing but you do it in the air. Also, one thing I haven't mentioned yet, you have to hit the enemy at the right spot if you want to get all 10 hits with the level 3 Mistfinder. Next is the low Mistfinder. The spread focuses on low to straight area, and when you hit the opponent it launches them towards you way more than how it is in level 2. The air version has a much more wider spread than its ground counterpart, covering most of the screen. When you hit the opponent with it, it's very similar to level 2, but the ground bounce and hit velocity is more higher. And finally, we got the middle Mistfinder. In terms of the spread, it is the most balanced out of all 3 versions. The attack properties is similar to level 2, but the roll duration is much more longer. And the air version is basically the same thing. It's not much different than its ground counterpart. The middle Mistfinder is great if you want to cover up high to low area. And here is just an example of what combo you can do with the level 3 Mistfinder. Obviously, it's not all what you can do with it, but I'm leaving the lab to you. And that's the complete summary of the Mistfinder levels. This was obviously the most anticipated part about the mod, and I couldn't blame you guys. I had a lot of fun making the Mistfinder levels, and especially level 3. But that begs the question though, can you finally do dust loops now? And the answer is... yes, you can finally fucking do dust loops now. You can actually fucking do it. This was what it was all about. Next, we got Nsinga Zwei and Nsinga Dive, which both are an inspiration of the Vine Blade. Here's the thing though. I have no fucking clue what the fuck this is supposed to be. Like, did he just throw a flammable object? Is it magic? Or can he just do that just because he's cool enough to do so? Nobody fucking knows, and I bet Daisuke doesn't know it either. So I just came up with the idea of Johnny just throwing a bottle of Nsinga, because technically speaking it sets the enemy on fire. Now we got that out of the way, let's actually move on to the move itself. First, we got the Insinga dive. You do the move by inputting 236S in the air. It's basically the same thing as the card dive, but you throw an Insinga bottle instead of a card. On hit, it will launch the enemy high up. The projectile itself is also an overhead, but it's minus on block. And as you can see, the angle of Johnny throwing the card is different than when he throws the Insinga bottle, being much more angled down. Another thing I forgot to mention is that the damage scaling is much more higher. So while the move is a high risk with a somewhat okay rewards, it's still a good move to be used for easy mix-ups. Next, we got the Insinga Zwei. You do the move by pressing S during Zwei. Very similar to the card Zwei, but instead of a card, you throw an Insinga bottle. It is minus on block, but it's an overhead. Also, I know it's supposed to be called Vault, but that's gotta be the most boring name a move could get in a Guilty Gear game. I mean, it's not like Insinga Dive or Insinga Zwei is any better, but come on guys. Next, we got Bakusai. Okay, I know you might be shaking as fuck when you heard that name, but don't worry, it won't be as OP as it is in Excerpt. Probably. Just like Bakusai from the previous games, my iteration of Bakusai work almost the exactly same way. When you do the move, Johnny will release a foggy mist that will track to the enemy location, and when it's near the enemy, it will attach to the enemy and make your Mistfinder unblockable for a short period of time. Or until you hit them with Mistfinder. And yeah, that's it. There's literally nothing else to say about this move. I mean, I would say it's not as OP as it is in Excerpt because your recovery time is much more slower, so it'd be more harder to do an unblockable setup unless you use Roman Cancel. And another thing I could say about the move is that it looks cool and that's literally it. Next we got Jackhound and Return Jack. One of Johnny's coolest moves got translated into Strive with some slight changes there and there. First, we got Jackhound. You do the move by inputting 236D while you're on mist stance, and also while having 25 tension meter. You have to be really precise with doing your input so then you don't accidentally cancel your mist stance, since the dust button is still technically assigned to cancelling your mist stance. In this move, Johnny does his forward, and if he's close enough, he will go through the enemy, attacking them on the opposite direction. It can also go through most projectile during the dash, but that doesn't mean he's invincible. Next, we got Return Jack. You do the move by inputting 214D just after doing Jackhound. If you see the sprite, that means you did it too late. And just like Jackhound, you need another 25 tension meter to do the move. And since you can't do Return Jack until you do Jackhound first, which costs 25 tension, the tension cost will total up to 50 tension meter just to do the Return Jack. Return Jack is very similar to Jackhound, but after Johnny sees his katana, multiple slashes will appear behind him. It doesn't make sense, but at least it looks cool. And Return Jack isn't supposed to be like this back in ACPR, but the thing is, Return Jack in ACPR is basically another Jackhound, so to me, I just thought that's a little boring, so I look up some stuff about the Ido type set and see if I can get any ideas from them. I did got some ideas from a few games, but if you haven't realized it already, I end up making the movie heavily inspired by that one move that Virgil does in Marvel vs. Capcom. Anyway, enough me talking about the inspiration. Just like Jackhound, it can go through projectiles, but you're still not invincible. Alright, now we have the most important part about these two moves. Do you guys remember the time I said that there's only one way that you can get your coins back? In round start, you are given 7 coins and you can only have 7 coin max. There are only one way you can get coins back after spending them, and I will talk about that again later. Well, that's what Jackhound and Return Jack are gonna be for. Every time you hit the opponent with Jackhound or Return Jack, you get 1 coin back each time. So basically, it's a replacement of Treasure Hunt. And that was the general summary of Jackhound and Return Jack. I will be honest, I actually enjoy making these two moves. At least it's not as obnoxious as making level 3 Mistfinder. But that begs the question though, when you finally have the ability to do Jackhound loops in Strive? And the answer is... yes, you can finally do Jackhound loops in Strive now. You can actually finally fucking do it. This is what it was all about. And finally, the last new move to showcase is Uncho's EI. Johnny's, if I had to say, coolest move has been translated into Strive, and I tried my best to make Uncho's EI to be as authentic as it was in ACPR. You do the move by inputting 236H in the air, but it required 50% of your tension meter. There's also a Zwei version, but I'll talk about that again later. In this move, Johnny releases a hitbox that's similar to his JH but is much more bigger, and on hit, it launches the enemy high up and make them fall slowly but surely until Johnny hits them with the most coolest EIDO slash you ever seen. Alright, here's a very important part about my Uncho's EI. The thing is that the first hit of the move will show its damage on the damage information display, but the second hit of Uncho's EI, or let's just say the EIDO hit, wouldn't show its damage at all on the information display. That's because I made it so that the EIDO hit uses a different way to damage the enemy rather than using the usual damage system. So this different damage system that I gave to the EIDO hit make it so that the damage wouldn't get affected by any sorts of damage scaling at all. The reason why I did this is because it helped me fix with some problems that I had when making Uncho's EI. But I at least make it somewhat fair by making it only do 30 damage. It wouldn't get affected by any damage scaling at all, but at least the damage isn't that high. Again, trust me guys, this move would have looked worse if I didn't use a different damage system, so thanks for hearing me out. Moving on, people been asking me to bring back Killer Joker into this mod. I never really think it's necessary to bring back Killer Joker because I always thought they replaced Killer Joker with Air Mistfinder when Exert Johnny was introduced. But since you guys keep bragging me about it, I at least made it so you can do Uncho's EI during Zwei. To do it, you just need to input 2236H during Zwei. There's not much differences between the Zwei version and the airborne version besides you getting a momentum because of the Zwei, but that's basically it. This will be the closest thing you'll get for Killer Joker. And here's just a little example of what combo you can do on round start with Uncho's EI being combo ender. I actually forgot to set the tensometer to 0, but basically you'll build just enough tensometer to do Uncho's EI at the end of the combo. And that was the summary of every new moves and changes with my Accent Core Johnny Overhaul mod. Oh my god, you have no idea how good it felt to finally say that. I've come a long way to get to this point and I am so fucking happy to finally be here. But the video is not over yet though. There is still some extra missed stuff that is not necessarily part of the Overhaul script mod, like how each character has got their own Joker trick images now, Mistfinder level 2 and level 3 particles, portrait mods, animation mods, and of course Johnny Accent Core model. After I'm done explaining those, then we can conclude the video. Don't worry, this won't take too long, so just stay with me for a bit more longer. First, let's talk about the Accent Core model. There will be 3 versions of this model. First is the no pony version, second is the short pony version, and the third one is the long pony version. It took me around like a month to finish this model, but every time I think I finish it, I always keep coming back to it because I thought it could look a bit more better. So occasionally, it's like, okay, I think I got it right this time. But then later on when I look back to the model again, I'll be like, maybe it still needs a bit more work. And then this process just repeats during the span of me doing the overhaul mod. But at least I think I've come to a satisfying result. Also, I don't really recommend using the long pony version because it has the most clippings than the other 2 versions of the model. But it's only for like 2 or 3 animations though. Also, just to clarify, there's also the beer version in all 3 versions by the way. Alright, here's an important part about the model. All 3 versions of the model generally have a lot of animation clippings, so I had to make a lot of animation mods just to fix the animation clippings. These are all of the model files. You can choose whatever pony version you want, but please use the animation fix mod to minimize the animation clippings of the models. The animation fix mod will include a lot of animation changes that is specifically only made for my AC models, so I do not recommend using it when you're using any other Johnny models. Next, we have the animation mods. I wanted to change some of Johnny animations to make it more similar to his old animations, because I honestly don't like how his new animations look in Strive. First, we got the old 5P. Second is just him not showing his stupid tooth during the idle stance. Third one is his old JH, and the last one is more of a bonus, which is the Uncho's taunt. The Uncho's taunt mod will replace that one taunt where Johnny check off his classes. The JH and the Uncho's EI taunt animation is necessary because it's the animations Johnny uses during the Uncho's EI move, so don't forget to install the JH and the Uncho's EI taunt animation if you're planning to play the AC Overhaul mod. Also, all 4 of these animation mods will be automatically installed on the animation fix mod that I just talked about. But if you wanted to have these 4 mods as a standalone mod, then you can just download each of them individually and it will work with any other Johnny models. Next, we got the portrait mods. I commissioned someone to make a redraw of Strive Johnny portrait art but with my Accent Core design, and I replaced most of Johnny in-game portrait images with the new art. You can install it with this file, but you probably want to come back to see if I updated the portrait mod every time a new character drops. Because if there's gonna be a new character releasing but you don't update the portrait mod, then the new character portrait is most likely gonna be blank for a lot of stuff. And rest assured, I will be updating the portrait mod every time a new character drops. Next, we got the Mistfinder level 2 and level 3 particles as standalone mods. These are standalone mods that swap out the original Mistfinder particles with my custom level 2 or level 3 versions. They only changed the visual, so the move still works exactly the same, meaning they're completely fine to use in online matches. You can install them by downloading these files. Just install whatever version you prefer. And finally, we got the Joker Trick mod. In this mod, there is a script that makes it so that every single character gets their own Joker Trick images. You can install it as a standalone mod by downloading the zip file called Joker Trick Standalone. This mod will work even in online matches, but there's a catch. You have to update the mod every time a new character drop or when a major update comes out. Because if you don't update it, it may cause us problems like some crashes or even desyncs, so it may won't work in online anymore unless you update the mod again. And rest assured, I will be updating the mod whenever I need to. Alright, I know you're probably asking if you can change the Joker Trick images to whatever you want or not, and to answer that question, yes you can. Unfortunately, the image size is 7630x309, so the resolution may look a little bit low, but it's really not so bad. All you need to do is download this template that still have the full image of the color-coded Joker Trick texture like the one shown right now. Just insert your images to the color-coded box, and once you're done with that, just cook the file again with the Unreal Engine. Obviously, you'll still need my Joker Trick script mod to make it work. And that was it. We finally fucking made it to the end. For real this time. As for the actual AC Johnny Overhaul files, just download this one and make sure that you update the mod every time there's a new major update made by ArcSy that makes the game crash when using the mod. And of course, I'll try updating the mod when I need to. Anyway, now that we're at the end of the video, I want to give a quick shout out to my Ko-fi supporters for all the donations and also ones who bought the early access version of the mod. Your donations really contribute a lot to me, so I'm very grateful for that. And I also want to say thanks to all of you guys who have been watching me develop the mod from the very start. The model took me around like a total of 2 months to be satisfied with it, and then the Joker Trick script and images took me around 3 months, and the AC overhaul itself took me around 7 months. So I hope you are proud of me for making it till the very end. And to the viewers watching this video, I hope you enjoyed watching this, and if you sit through the whole video from start to finish, I'm very grateful for that because every single second of this video took a lot of time and effort to do for both the tribute and the showcase part of the video. So, thank you. By the way, just to clarify, I do not sound like Virgil. Some people have been telling me that I sound like Virgil or a younger version of him. I don't know what the fuck these scums are talking about, but I am nowhere close to even sounding like him. Alright, before we end the video, I know you guys probably have some questions, so I'll answer them real quick. Will this mean that I'll be making more overhaul mods with quality like this? Maybe, I don't really know. We'll have to see again later. Another question you might be asking, would I at least make more tribute videos similar to the first half of this video? Well, the thing is, if I were to make another tribute video, that probably means I'm making another overhaul mod for that character that I'm making a tribute video for. And the final question is if I'm gonna be making more scripted videos similar to the second half of this video. And to answer that question, yes, I will be making more quality scripted videos just like this. Anyway guys, that's all I have for this video. If you think this video was great, leave a like or subscribe and leave a comment so you could express your thoughts and how you feel about the video or the mod. If you want to follow me on Twitter, the link is on the description. I'm a bit more active there, and I'll also put the link of the Game Banana post to the mod in the description too. Anyway, thank you for watching.